I got me an idea, and I'ma put it to work, and I'ma gauge my progress by the sign of the word. Now I ain't yet a success, but yes, the word that I stress, cause by the time you hear the CD, count the steps that I've left, I'm passing all of you.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I am Pablo Rivera, and this is Make It Happen Mondays. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about your personality. I'm letting you know right now, your personality is the key to either increasing or decreasing your market value. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking like, hello, I ain't no stock, I ain't no trade, right? But listen, it's about relationships. It's going to increase or decrease your market value in relationships. Whether that's a relationship with your wife or your husband, a relationship with a friend of yours, a relationship with money, a relationship at your job. Any relationship you got, your personality is going to play a very pivotal role in that relationship, right? It's your trademark. It's really who you are. It's what distinguishes you from everybody else in the world, right? You can have somebody else with my exact demographic, but they got a different personality than I do, right? Personality is made up of a whole bunch of different things, different factors, right? Your character, your mindset, whole bunch of things, right? We're gonna get into that today, though, right? So your personality is what is going to make people either attracted to you or want to shy away from you. You see what I'm saying? And if you ain't got a good personality, why are you gonna want to work with somebody, right? Check this out. It's very important to be real, to be true to what your personality is, right? I think it was Chris Rock, and if it wasn't Chris Rock, I apologize, Chris, right? But there was this comedian, and he said that when in a dating game, when you first meet up with somebody, you never meet who they actually are. You meet their representative, right? So you end up meeting this girl, or vice versa, some girl, you end up meeting this guy, right? And you don't know who they are yet, because they putting up a front. Now, it might be a piece of who they are. It might be, a little section of who they are. It might be mostly who they are. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't going to want to sit here and tell you about their aggravations, right? They ain't going to want to sit here and tell you about what, why it is that they have such a short temper or whatever, right? Think about it. When you go out on a date, you go and you get all dressed up, whatever. You put on some nice clothes, da-da-da. Even if you ain't the type of dude to open up the car door, 9 times out of 10, you go and you open up that car door. Yeah, what's up, girl? Even if it's just to catch a look real quick, a little closer look before she gets in the ride, right? But that's not who you are, right? If that's not who you are, you don't want to do that. Either you or her might make the other person a great meal, right? At least in your mind. And then they eat it, and they're, oh yeah, this is great, absolutely. Stay with that person for about 4 or 5 months, right? Because then you make that same meal, and they're like, yo, this is trash. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? It's like, yo, you liked it 3, 4, 5 months ago. What happened, right? Hello. Now you're starting to meet who they really are, okay? You don't want to do that. I'm telling you, in relationships, you want to dial in on your personality and be your personality. And now, depending on what it is that you want out of life, you can dial things in or you can accentuate some things, you know what I'm saying? Because check this out. My father one time, right, I used to speak, I don't want to call it worse, you know what I'm saying? But I used to speak with more slang than I speak right now, right? And my father pulled me aside and he was like, hey, son, you're going to have to learn how to shut that off if you want to be successful in life. And at the time, that was like a punch in my face, right? I'm like, this is the way I talk. Why are you getting on the way I talk? You know what I mean? In my mind, I didn't talk back to my father like that, right? But I understand now what he was talking about. Because I'll tell you what, if I didn't learn how to better communicate, if I didn't know how to speak, I would have never made it in certain rooms that I've been able to speak in. You see what I'm saying? I've been in rooms where there was nothing but lawyers. I've been in rooms where there was nothing but extremely high institutionalized education folk, for lack of a better term. Right? And if I didn't know how to effectively communicate what it was that needed to be communicated, I'd have been lost in the sauce, man. I'd have been lost in the sauce, and they wouldn't have gave me two looks in my direction, right? So over the course of time, I learned how to adjust, right? I didn't lose that side of me. I did not lose that side of me. But depending on the environment that I'm in, depending on the audience that I have, I'm gonna adjust. I'm going to adjust fire so that when I'm speaking, my message will be conveyed with that power that I needed to be conveyed with, right? Or perhaps it needs to be more of a delicate touch. It all depends on the situation and who my audience is. But my point in telling you that story is that your personality is made up of all these different factors. And if you want to be successful, you got to be attuned to what it is your personality is. And you got to know where them levers are, right? So that you can adjust and then you can become more effective. And the relationships that you have will be much more productive. You feel me? All right, so let's keep it going. Verbal communication, right? That's one way that people are going to be able to pick up on your personality. But I'm telling you right now, and I'm not going to get too far into this one, but people could see the type of personality that you got without you saying a word. I mean, it's some kind of metaphysical, I don't know what you want to call it, aura, colors, whatever you want to say it is. But people, I mean, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? You ever walk up around someplace, you just see somebody, you're like, oh, okay, nah, hold up. This is not a good situation. Or this person here is up to no good. Or you know what? I ain't feeling that dude. Or I ain't feeling that girl. Whatever it is, right? It's almost just a feeling, right? I don't know how that feeling gets there, but I'm telling you right now, we all know what I'm talking about. Is that either just the same way that you make that kind of predetermination on somebody else, somebody's making that predetermination on you. There's a couple of things, like I said, there's some levers that we can go ahead and move, right? The tone of your voice, right? The words that you use when you're communicating. Again, back to the reference that I said in the first place. The way you carry your face, right? People say they got resting face, right? You know, you have control over that. Right? That whole, oh, well, hey, sorry, that's just me. That's not good enough. Okay? Because, oh, well, that's just me. Well, then you're just going to stay right where you at. Right? And you ain't even going to realize how many doors are closing or just not even opening in the first place because of that type of attitude, that type of personality that you're conveying to the world. Right? If you know me, you've heard me say it many a times, that there's a whole lot of outward expressions of inward feelings, right? And if your inward feeling is you want to become more successful or you want to make this relationship better, whatever that relationship is, you're going to have to make some changes, right? You can't just sit on your whole, this is me, this is who I am, right? You want to be better, then there's going to be some things that you need to change. If it wasn't the case, you'd already be in that position that you wanted to be in, right? Think about it. There might be things that people do that would 100% justify you busting off on the lip on them, right? There might be some things that would 100% justify you getting so emotionally attached or emotionally exaggerated over what it is that they doing that you get pissed, right? Justified. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you need to do because you control yourself. You control your emotions, right? If somebody come up and do something disrespectful, that means that their actions are disrespectful. It's up to me to decide if I'm going to be disrespected. You feel me? If somebody comes up and does something mean to me, it's up to me if I'm going to act on my anger, right? Now, sometimes you can get angry, but your response to that anger is all up to you. 100% up to you. And the way you start being able to control that, there's different mechanisms and stuff that you can control that. But the fact that you do control that is what's going to make you a more desirable or allow you to have a more desirable personality, right? Again, I'll bring it right back. People say, oh, I ain't going to be fake. I ain't going to be fake like that. Well, you know what? Is whatever it is that you're putting out, that's what's inside of you. So maybe you need to start changing what's inside of you, right? I try not to watch bad movies, right? I mean, I watch, listen, Training Day, Denzel, right? That's all about this bad cop doing whatever. But for the most part, I watch positive movies. I read positive books. I'm all about motivation. I'm all about inspiration. And now look at me. I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm outwardly expressing all of that stuff that I've been pumping into me. You see what I'm saying? You don't see me out there trying to be a cop. And then on top of that, trying to be a bad cop, right? You don't see me out there, trying to rob people. You don't see any of that. You know what I'm saying? And arguably that is a success on its own because I've been around people who did that type of things, right? I was in that atmosphere for a little while. And I determined my destiny to get out of those things. And I tell you what, I had to pull some levers in my personality. I had to check my character a little bit so that I can get out of that, right? So we're talking about keeping it real. That's the same thing as sincerity. Right? And I'm telling you, sincerity is another one of the metaphysical things that you can just know about. Because when somebody is sincere, you can kind of feel that. And if they ain't, you might get bamboozled and flim-flam for a little while, but there's things that are going to pop out in their character, in their personality, that you're going to see like, hold up, this person ain't really necessarily acting in my best interests. You see what I'm saying? And you can't necessarily expect somebody to be acting 100% in your best interests because it's me first, right? They're going to be acting on their best interest as well. But if somebody comes up, it's sort of like two types of people in this world. People who say they're going to do something, and then people who actually do it, right? If you got somebody who's telling you, oh yeah, I care about you, and I this and I that, and I want to make sure that this and this and that, and their actions are matching up with their words, well, now you're starting to see that you're dealing with an unsincere person, right? Don't be that person, because that downgrades your personality, that decreases the market value in your personality. And I'm telling you, you do a couple of unsincere things, and that just makes it so that nobody even thinks that you're sincere anymore. Couple of sincere things, the equation of that, you're going to have to do a whole lot more sincere type things for people to start believing even a little bit more that you've changed your ways. On the flip side, you're doing all this sincere stuff, you do a couple unsincere type things, and your stock's going to drop faster than you could think. You see what I'm saying? Sincerity. Now, a couple other things that you can do to make sure that your personality increases in its market value is listen. Sometimes the most effective communication is being able to listen to what's being said. Nobody likes somebody to just jump right in and run away with the conversation, right? Because I'm telling you right now, they're going to be like, yep. And in their mind, it's like, okay, this dude right here, you know what I'm saying? That's not what you want to be about, okay? And I understand sometimes you're passionate. Sometimes, oh, I'm in on this, right? But I'm letting you know right now, in business, people want to make sure that they're being heard because they want you to understand where they're at, right? And now the thing is everybody wants to be understood, right? 7 strategies of highly successful people. It says right in there, it says, first seek to understand, then be understood, right? Something along those lines. Again, I don't got the book in front of me, but that's the point. That's the gist of the quote. First, you want to seek to understand. Everybody jumping in to try, understand me. I got a good point. I'm smart. Okay, cool. Let me understand what's going on, right? First seek to understand, then you can go ahead and be understood, right? Do not jump into conversation and run away. In a relationship, girlfriend-boyfriend relationship, right? If you never ask your girl, hey, how are things? And shut up and listen. Hey, how was your day? And shut up and listen. Right? You just coming up, hey, babe, this is what happened. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, check it out. Come on, man. I tell you right now, that relationship ain't going to last too long. Right? You got to listen. Right? And one of the things that I do is I actively listen. You know what I'm saying? So it almost seems like I'm cutting people off sometimes. And that's one of the things I work on. Right? But I'm a talker. And as you see, I use my hands and all that. People be like, oh, I did this. I'm like, yup, yeah, me too. But that's it. You see what I'm saying? I don't keep on going. Me too. My story is, and again, I'm a talker. So that was one of the things I had to work on is shutting up, right? You got to listen. Nobody likes somebody to jump in to the conversation and run away with it. Another thing that's going to increase your personality market value is being able to keep your emotions in check. Yep. It's good to be passionate. I used to work when I was younger. I worked in this department store, right? And I ended up moving up in the rank. I started out as a stock person in the warehouse, blah, 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 right? And I ended up getting into it with the manager, right? But I'm telling you, I was making moves. I was good. District manager, region. Everybody was like, yo, this dude Pablo got it, right? I'm telling you, I was doing the darn thing, right? And me and him, we got in a little argument and stuff. And at the end of it, I was like, dang, I just argued with my boss, hard body, right? So I was like, I reflected on myself and I went up to him. I was like, hey, man, I probably shouldn't be doing that, and my bad, right? You're my boss, and I shouldn't be doing that. You probably had every right in the world to get rid of me. And he pulled me aside. He was like, nah, man, listen, you're young, you're full of energy. He said that I kind of remind him of himself, right? And he said, it's okay because you're passionate about what it is you're doing. So at the time, that was cool, right? But I was a young buck at the time. And it's okay to be passionate. Like I said, it's okay to be passionate. But I'm telling you right now, in some of the rooms that I'll be in right now, I got to keep that passion in check, right? I could outwardly express that passion that I have inside in very different ways. And it's important to be able to do so because don't nobody want to be with some emotionally unstable person, right? Again, business. You got a deal going through. You don't want to be, oh yeah, we're going to get this deal. We're going to get it. Calm down, right? Get the deal. Make it happen. Good job, right? The world got to watch me make it happen, okay? Go celebrate when it's time to celebrate, okay? But you want to make sure that you got your emotions in check while you're making it happen, right? Think about it this way. Again, in a intimate relationship, right? If you got that girl going crazy, if she's emotionally unstable, you're going to be like, yo, crazy only attractive for a little while, right? And I ain't just trying to get on the females, you know what I'm saying? Males too. Emotionally unstable males, man, y'all crazy too, right? I'm just saying, I'm trying to put it in my context, right? That's why I keep saying female, right? But public service announcement, my girl is very emotionally stable, right? I don't want to sit there and make it seem like I put it in my, anyway, reverse that. You feel what I'm saying? So, but emotional instability is not a way to increase your personality market value. That is definitely a way to tank that, okay? The other thing is nobody wants to be hearing about all your personal issues. Okay? Nobody wants to be talking about your personal issues all the time. And let's stick with that intimate relationship, right? You don't want to sit there. She don't want to know about everything that makes you cry. She don't want to know about everything that gets you mad. She don't want to know about not everything, okay? Give it to her in chunks. Give it to her in pieces. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to sit there just emotionally unload on her. And that's definitely reigns true on the other side, in the business side. Okay, when you're sitting there talking about whatever, you know, how this report is going to be generated, or how many customers you think are going to be able to get acquired by doing X, Y, Z, whatever it is, you do not want to be going in there and telling them about how you had to go to the doctors yesterday and what the doctor said. That's got nothing to do with what it is that you're talking about. And that is the fastest way to be able to decrease your personality market value. You don't want to be doing that. Stick to the subject. This next one right here, this one was tough for me, because I am sarcastic as they come, right? But too much sarcasm, that's going to ruin your personality as well, okay? You don't want to be sitting there and just being sarcastic and wisecracking all over the place, because people are just going to be like, okay, I got you, and they're going to put you in a box, right? That's the jokester. He don't ever get no work done. He don't really understand what he's talking about, and you can have a wealth of information inside of your mind. But if you're just sitting there jokey city, that's what they're going to put you on. Whenever we need some comic relief, we're going to call on him. But when we need to get down to the business, right, he's not in it. You see what I'm saying? So too many wisecracks. And again, that was something I needed to work on myself. Insincere compliments, right? That happens a lot, especially when you're a boss. And sometimes you end up feeling like you want to make, they say you got to increase morale. So people just start shooting out praise. Oh, hey, man, great job on that. Hey, oh, you did a phenomenal job. Oh, okay, this is good. Oh, you did that. Oh, my goodness, right? Yeah. You don't need to be doing all that, right? You want to keep, again, sincerity, right? This kind of falls under that same category of sincerity, is you want to be sincere in what it is that you're saying. Because if you end up throwing out all these compliments, it don't really mean anything, right? I was told one time, you don't need to swear that much, right? Again, another thing I used to work on, right? So you don't need to swear that much. You swear all the time, it ends up taking the weight away from it. If you F this and F that and da, when you get mad, what else you got to say to add the exclamation point at the end of your statement, right? This dude swear all the time. So it really don't matter. Now, all of a sudden, if you got somebody who don't really swear that much, and they get so mad, and, granted, they probably didn't have their emotions in check like we just talked about, right? But they get so mad that all of a sudden they drop an F-bomb in their sentence. You're going to go, oh, okay, this dude don't never talk like that, right? Again, you want to be able to keep all that stuff in check. Same thing with compliments. You don't want to be giving out all of these compliments for really no reason, because they're just going to be like, oh, that's just the type of person he is. Again, decreases your market value as far as personality. So check this out. Let's recap, right? This is all about increasing the market value of your personality, right? Because by doing so, you increase your market value, right? It don't matter what relationship we're talking about. It can be an emotional, intimate relationship. It can be a relationship with money. It can be a business relationship, whatever it is. I need you to, after you hear this video, I need you to be able to take an internal inventory of your personality, right? Now, we talked about a few things here today. Listen to them. Think about them and be real. Keep it real with yourself, right? This is what happens when keep it real goes wrong, right? But this ain't going to go wrong. Take an accurate inventory of your personality, right? And I want you to think about it. Say, where do I need to be and what levers do I need to pull so that I can adjust fire and I can be more productive and more impactful and I can improve the relationship that I'm trying to improve. Right? You can do this. I don't want to hear none of that. Oh, well, this is the way I am. Nah, man, listen. If you good where you at, then you shouldn't be listening to this video in the first place, right? Everyone who's listening to this video has a desire to improve, has a desire to move on to that next level, right? So again, take an inventory, make them adjustments, and make it happen, right? I hope that this video is inspiring to you. I hope that this video motivates you. I hope that you take the lessons learned and implement them. The reason why is because it don't matter how many self-help books that you read. It don't matter how many morning motivations that you read or you listen to. It don't matter how many life coaches that you got. It doesn't matter about any of those things. If you don't implement them, ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen. You're gonna have a whole lot of knowledge, but nothing is gonna change in your life. Okay, that's the point of this, is we want to make change. That's what make it happen. There's a verb in there. Okay, this is to take action in the information that we're passing to you. Okay, take some action. Take some of the information and take action this week. This Monday is the first day of the week for you to be able to implement it for not only the rest of this week, but the rest of your life. All right. Again, I hope it inspires you. I hope it motivates you. And until next Monday, my name is Pablo Rivera. Watch me make it happen.